Today's principal speaker is Ralph Howard, the President and CEO of Design Specialties, LLC, the market leader in custom glass fireplace doors and accessories. Since receiving his bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering from UW-Platteville, Ralph has compiled more than 30 years of diversified experience with market-leading companies, running complex manufacturing and distribution businesses in consumer and industrial products. Please welcome Ralph Howard to the podium.
Thank you all so much for such a nice warm welcome. I'm just going to bring this up a little bit so I don't have to hunch over to get to the speakers. So let me start first by thanking Chancellor Shields, Dean Gribb, the executive team, and the UW-Platteville Commencement Committee for inviting me to be a part of this awesome celebration here today. I'm truly honored to be here. It's nice to be back. And congratulations to all of our 2017 graduates that we're honoring here today. Engineers, mathematicians, and scientists. It's almost intimidating to think about the tremendous amount of brain power that I have sitting here in front of me today. And that would be the case if we were here in the spring. But remember, we're here in December. So I dare say that we are in the presence of sheer genius with all of you guys completing your full curriculum a full semester early. Yeah, okay. Well, I got to tell you, it's hard to believe that it's been 32 years since I was sitting where you guys are sitting today, getting ready to strike out on my own post-college journey with a fresh UW-Platteville sheepskin in hand, like you, a proud and prepared pioneer. So this truly is a day for celebration, and we're all celebrating for lots of different reasons. Your parents are celebrating the fact that they produced and raised such outstanding young men and women. The faculty are taking bows today for having produced such wonderful graduates despite everything their parents tried to do to them. The campus administrators are thrilled to have another fine crop of new alumni despite everything the faculty tried to do to them. And the students here today are happy that they turned out so well despite everything that all of the braggarts and blowhards in all of these categories try to do to them. So good news, class of 2017. I'm the last blowhard standing between you and your degree. So that said, I do have an important mission to accomplish here today. In about 7 minutes, it's up to me to lay a bit of profound wisdom and inspiration on you that maybe you'll remember and your mother will certainly remind you of 5 or 10 years from now. So let me start by sharing with you my theory on what many of you are going to be experiencing over the next decade of your lives. You're likely going to find yourself out wandering around in this great American society. So people who graduated from college during my generation, we usually did 4 things in rapid succession. We got our degrees, we found a job, we got married, and we bought a home. In the 1980s, most of us did these 4 things by the time we were 30. In today's America, the situation is very different. Today, you get your degree, and if you're like most new grads, you're going to spend the next 10 years of your life moving from job to job, maybe some time in grad school or night school, moving from city to city, experimenting with different careers and lifestyles. And while you're doing this, by the way, your parents will be going absolutely insane. But listen, I say you're right to spend your 20s engaged in this sort of odyssey. Do it while you're young. You're never going to have more enthusiasm, energy, hair, or brain cells than you have right now. So you leave Platteville today with a sharply honed IQ. For the last 20-some odd years, you've been stretching the gray matter between your ears like silly putty and filling it with high-value stuff, more recently like solving differential equations, understanding thermodynamic principles, absorbing bits of English literature, mastering how to complete the quests of Assassin's Creed Origins, important stuff that you might use again down the road one day. Now, some of you are going to put your degrees to work in your chosen field right away, and you're going to progress within your field of expertise for the rest of your lives, like my roommate here in Platteville, Mark, did, and I say that's great. Dilly dilly. And many of you are going to do something that's not directly related to your major. A recent Career Builder study reported that a full third of college-educated workers never take a position related to their college major. And that's okay, too. If this is your path, go with confidence knowing that your years here at Platteville have taught you how to think in a disciplined way with a well-balanced education that's going to help you succeed. And some of you are going to start your career in your chosen discipline, and then you're going to move on to something else like I did. Quite honestly, my goal coming out of college was to get out of engineering as fast as I could. No offense, Dean Gribb. For me, I wanted to leverage my technical knowledge and move into the sales, marketing, and business development areas of business, and ultimately leading teams of people and running businesses as a general manager. Whatever path you choose on your odyssey, let me offer you a few simple thoughts now that I think will help guide you. So get ready now. This is the heavy stuff. So if you still have a pen or a pencil on you, I'd like you to take it out now and write this stuff down on the palm of your hand or a crumpled dollar bill at the bottom of your shoe or something. So I'm going to challenge you to do 4 things. Continue developing your IQ, start developing your EQ, keep balance between your work and your personal life, and architect a plan for your legacy and start building it. So let's start with the IQ. This one should be pretty easy since you've been developing it your entire life now, right? Well, I'm going to ask you to lean in a little bit on this one because I'm going to throw a new twist at you. So you've been busy these last many years making deposits into your bank of knowledge, and knowledge is about having the right answer. As you move now from academia into the working world, you need to grow your intelligence by asking the right questions. Asking proper and probing questions is going to help you learn, it's going to help you get to root cause, and to help you get to the right answer. Conversely, not asking a proper question likely will not help you get the answer you're seeking, or a very different answer depending on how you pose it to. So to demonstrate, let's tee up a simple, superficial question, and let's pick something that all 2,000 of us here in Williams Field House or at home watching on the World Wide Web can relate to. Chocolate. What kind of food is chocolate? Simple enough question, but guess what? These scientific guys down here in front of me are already over-engineering me an answer. They might tell me that chocolate has a chemical makeup of flavonoids and alkaloids, you know, theobromine, caffeine, PEA, and other 3-letter acronyms of stuff that doesn't sound very tasty. But look, now ask me that same question. What kind of food is chocolate? Now, I'm a pretty simple cat, so I'm going to bounce this off my 1970s streetwise Starsky and Hutch intellect, and I'm going to answer this question much more simply. Chocolate comes from cocoa, which is a tree. That makes it a plant, so chocolate is a salad. All right, so maybe my example's a little bit goofy, but hopefully you get my point. Continue to develop your IQ, never stop learning, and ask good questions. So let's move now to EQ. So what on earth is EQ, and why is it so important? Well, EQ stands for emotional quotient or emotional intelligence. It's your ability to understand or read other people, what motivates them, and how to work with them cooperatively. So says noted psychologist Daniel Goleman. And Goleman says it's twice as important as IQ for superior success in lives and in careers. It's about successfully interacting with other people. Said by another, anybody can become angry, that's easy. But to be angry with the right person and to the right degree and at the right time and for the right purpose and in the right way is not within everybody's power, and it's not easy. Those profound words in that extremely long run-on sentence were brought to you by Aristotle. Seems that he was already tuned into the importance of EQ some 2,000 years ago. So listen, I'm just going to boil this down for you in the very simplest of terms. Your IQ and your good grades from a great school are going to help you land your first job. Your EQ and your relational skills are going to help you get your first promotion. So let me give you step 1 in developing your relational skills. Develop your abilities as an active listener. Put down your smartphone and actively engage with your cohorts. Now, I can see some of you are already thinking, that's old-fashioned thinking, I'm a multitasker. I can do a hit and run on somebody on Twitter while I'm listening to you during our conversation. Excellent listeners listen with both their ears and their eyes. Communication is so much more than just the spoken word. Sure, what we say is important, but in relationships, both personal and professional, the nonverbal behaviors, what we do as opposed to what we say, are the acid test of our sincerity and our commitment. Now, don't forget, there are 3 elements in any face-to-face communication: words, tone of voice, and body language. And reading body language and tone of voice will tell you far more than what mere words will. And although verbal output can be turned off, nonverbal cannot. Even silence communicates something, and sometimes silence is the best course. Am I right, guys? So develop your relational skills, build your EQ muscle, and you'll distinguish yourself both at the office and at home. So my third thought for today: don't forget about the importance of keeping balance between your work and your personal life. I'm standing before you today having been an abject failure in this regard. They say a smart person learns from their mistakes and a truly wise person learns from the mistakes of others. So here you go. Your career is a marathon. It's not a 50-yard dash, so treat it as such. I did not. So to be clear, Dr. Phil, I'm not, nor do I pretend to be. Along my personal journey, I left a wake of failed marriages as my drive for professional success took on a very high priority for me. Setting high standards is certainly a valued competency in business, but it should carry equal weight in your personal life as well. Getting and keeping that important work-life balance is not all that complicated, but it does require discipline, self-discipline. In my own story, I didn't want to miss out on the slightest opportunity to get ahead. My Protestant work ethic said, hey, competition's tough out there. So I put on my blinders and I blocked out most everything around me except for my career, limiting quality time with others, canceling and shortening vacations, and justifying my way into a more stoic and mundane life by choice. I became hypnotized by work and the prospect for success. I ended up living to work rather than working to live. I accepted a more humdrum existence and lost touch with myself and those closest to me when I should have been adding verve to my life and depth to relationships. There's an extraordinary and satisfying sense of totality that comes from a more balanced approach. Broadening your exploration now can have a profound and positive impact on both your professional and your personal life. There isn't a rewind button on life, and unlike Outlander, we can't pass through the stones to go back and add experiences that we should be enjoying to enrich our lives today. So as you go off now to write the next chapter of your own story, think about what you want your legacy to be and build it with a plan. As I've spent most of my professional life in the home building products industry, I leave you now with a short parable about a carpenter that I hope will serve as a reminder to you in your days ahead. An elderly carpenter was getting up there in years and decided it was time to leave the home building industry and head into retirement. So he met with his employer and made him aware of his plans. His employer was sad to see his good carpenter go, and he asked him if he'd be willing to do him just one more personal favor and build him one more house before he moved into retirement. So the carpenter said yes, and he went about his work. Pretty soon it was easy to see that his heart just wasn't in it, and he resorted to using inferior materials in the building of this house and shoddy workmanship. So when the carpenter finished building this home, the employer showed up at the doorstep to do an inspection. Upon meeting the carpenter at the home, he handed him the keys. He said, "This is your house. This is my parting gift to you." As you might imagine, the carpenter was grateful, but also shocked. What a shame, he thought. If only I had known I was building this house for myself, I would have done it all so differently. I wouldn't have used inferior materials, and I would have provided a higher degree of workmanship. And so it is with us. We build our lives a day at a time, often putting less than our best labor and materials into the building. And then with a shock, we realize we have to live in the house that we built. If we could do it all over again, we'd do it so much differently, but we can't go back. Remember, there's no rewind button on life. You are the carpenter. Each and every day, you're placing a board, you're hammering a nail, putting up a wall. Your life is one big do-it-yourself project. Your choices and the actions that you make today build the house that you'll live in tomorrow. Approach this construction project with a plan and build it wisely. Thank you for your time and attention today, and my very best wishes to all of our 2017 graduates.